The vision for Badger is to be a retail solutions company. We've been working very hard on our analytics platform with our artificial intelligence, AI, and our machine learning. So we're very proud of that. And we have new applications for security. We have new applications for disinfectant using the robots now. You know, with COVID and post-COVID, we know how important that is for the industry and for the communities. Woodmans is a 18 location Midwestern store, but what's unique about Woodmans is they're about 240,000 square feet of selling. So for them, it was a lot about product location and tag location. And they initially came to us to see if the robot can aid them in identifying and making sure the right price tags are in the right zones of the store.
Pricing compliance is a huge deal. That's the customer side of our business. We want you to see the price on the shelf and the price ring correctly at the register. Prior to having a robot in the store, the pricing coordinator would have to leave their department for a week every month to go out through the aisles and scan item by item just to price verify. The robot's now doing what we were doing every month for a week, every single day.
So having the ability to outsource the robot and use that as an augmentation for very tedious tasks lands up being a big value for the independent grocers because they have to find more creative ways to save. And they're finding that the robot is allowing them to cut costs in the right place, but more importantly, allow their associates to spend more interaction with the customers, which is improving the in-store experience. Woodmans also uses us for identifying any items that are out of stock. Woodmans is one of the first clients to use it to upgrade their mobile app that their consumers use to shop with.
The customer can now be in our store, look up an item, find its location within the grocery aisles. There's 24 aisles, there's about 30,000 products on just the grocery department shelves alone.
Another unique thing that Woodmans uses our product location for is that the robot will send the product location to the distribution center, so when they're replenishing, now Woodmans pre-pallets it to go exactly in the aisle where it should be.
Now we have this product location in a nice list. We provided it to our distribution warehouses who are starting to pick orders within our aisles. So now we're not reducing some of this breakdown time of the incoming product.
Through our analytic and AI platform, the robot can tell the stores by category, you know, what items are more frequently out of stock. So it's really giving them a lot of on-shelf data that they normally would have people looking for. The small independent grocery retailers typically don't have the IT infrastructure to do a lot of system things that the larger, you know, tier 1 grocers might be able to do. Just had a great time in collaboration and working on new projects together and testing new ideas.
Sky's the limit when it comes to the robot project right now. If we can develop it, we're going to develop it. Just to see if there's another available piece of information that we can compare to enhance another report, create another report, enhance another job down the line. We're willing and open to take any possibility with the robot at this point.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you happen to be. My name is Mike Graen, and we're back with another Conversations Retail and the University of Arkansas Supply Chain Organization, talking about on-shelf availability. And you saw a video just a few minutes ago, a little bit of a teaser. We actually have one of the guys who was in that video, Tyler Davis, who we'll be introducing here in a second. But that was a few years ago, and now he's a couple of years older and a couple of years wiser. He's got some interesting things that he wants to tell us about Woodmans, as well as the use of technology like Badger to drive alerting and on-shelf availability. So we've got Tyler here. We've also got Mark Shake. Mark Shake is with the Badger Corporation. Mark's been doing this for a long, long time. And is really an expert in the solution at retail that identifies what I'm going to call things that are out of the normal. So spills in the floor or out of stocks or pricing, et cetera. Some of the stuff that you saw in that video, you saw Tyler and be talking about. So before I get too far, let me start with Tyler. Why don't you just unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the audience for us?
I'm Tyler Davis. I work for Woodman's Food Markets. I am an IT pricing clerk here, and I support all of our pricing departments at the office level and at the store level. I am in charge of the robots and all the fun that we get to do with them. I also support some of our receiving and just our general pricing systems here at Woodman's.
Awesome. How long have you been with Woodmans, Tyler?
It was 18 years this year.
18 years. Did you start off in the store or did you always start in the home office?
I started at a store 18 years ago. I then transferred and opened 2 stores before I came to the office. I've been at the office for 8 years now.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, Put you on the spot a little bit. How has the experience working in a store, does that help rather than just starting in a home office? I would think it would be hugely helpful because you get to live the life and then you can come and build solutions for the folks of the work that you used to do. Is that true?
Absolutely. At the office, I tend to be a voice of something designed within the office on paper doesn't always play out in a real application. So I can kind of be like, well, this point and this point might need to be finessed a little bit more before we put it into live action at the store. I was able to bring a lot of just pain points from the store here, and we've been able to focus on and work on them. And as development of the robot has gone, I've been able to really take my experience at the store level and focus on what the robot can do to truly impact day-to-day life at the store.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The CEO of Walmart, a guy by the name of Doug McMillan, he used to say to me all the time, because I both worked in a store at Walmart and then worked in the corporate office. He goes, Mike, we don't have cash registers in the home office. We're here to support the stores. Let's just be really clear on what we're focusing on. Yeah, it was a pretty good line. That was very memorable. Mark Shake, tell us about your career path. I know you didn't start with Badger. You've been around for a while in the retail technology space. Tell us a little bit about Mark Shake.
Yeah, so thanks, Mike. Thank you, Tyler, for participating. So I've been with Badger, currently Vice President of Business Development with Badger. Work a lot with our partners in the market, like Woodmans. My background has really evolved in technology. Really grew up in the technology and telecommunications industry, really at the enterprise level. And about 7-8 years ago, I had the opportunity to was introduced to Badger, and they were looking for a business person, someone other than an engineer. So I had the opportunity to come on board and really get my feet wet and learn the business. Both robotics and most importantly, the retail space. So I've enjoyed the ride. I've spent more time in a grocery store than I ever imagined. So,
well, here we're going to ask you exactly every nut and bolt that's in that.
I don't know everything.
We talked to the wrong guy.
I don't know about that.
You're the practical guy. You're less about how it works internally. You're more about what it does for the customers, which is really what we're probably interested more in this conversation as well.
Right.
So Tyler, I'm going to kick it back to you. So tell us about Woodmans. If I've never heard of Woodmans before, tell us a little bit about Woodmans, the number of stores you got, what your stores look like, who your target customer, anything you want to tell us about Woodmans. Just give us a little bit of view. If people aren't in your area, the Chicago, kind of Wisconsin area, if they're on the West Coast, they probably never heard of you before. So give us a little bit of background on who Woodmans is.
Woodmans was founded in 1919 in a little produce stand in Janesville. We are now on our 4th generation of Woodman, as Clint has taken over and Phil is still around. He's out in the stores all the time, but Clint's kind of running the operations from the office now. And yeah, we've been around. We've got 20 stores opening. Well, we're opening our 20th next year, Racine, Wisconsin. And
how big are these stores? And are they primarily grocery, or do they have apparel and other things as well? Tell us a little bit about them.
They are about 230,000 square feet. They're quite large stores, primarily grocery. There is Haba, HBC, frozen dairy meat, very service orientated, low cost, low price, just trying to keep things down and keep the volume up. And yeah.
Wow. If I compare that to one of the biggest Walmart super centers I know, it's 220,000 square foot. But that's grocery, health and beauty, apparel, electronics, automotive, service, all that kind, sporting goods, etc. 230,000 square foot super center, or I'm sorry, grocery store.
Yep.
I mean, if you need any grocery item ever, you should be able to buy it in the Woodmans, right? Is that what you're saying?
Hopefully, yeah. Variety is key. We have about 100,000 active UPCs on the floor at any given time in most of our stores. We have a couple smaller locations, a little older locations, but yeah, generally about 100,000. A
Okay.
little over 50,000 of those are picked up by the robots daily.
Nice.
So
Awesome. Awesome. And tell us maybe a little bit about your customer base. Who is it people because they're coming from a location which is close to you? Is there a loyalty program? How do you maintain your constant growth with your customers?
we focus on offering the lowest prices and the most variety. So we generally, we prefer to cater to everybody, but we generally cater to families, come shop at Woodman's and stock up while you can. And we're located off of major interstates. Generally, we're spread out a little bit. You're not going to have multiple Woodman's locations in cities other than Madison, which is right by our corporate office.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So, Mark, I'm going to kick it over to you. You guys are in Lexington, Kentucky. I don't think there's a Woodman's in Lexington, Kentucky, last time I checked. So, how did you and Woodman's decide, hey, we got some opportunities to do some business together? Tell us a little bit about Badger and how the initial discussions with Woodman's transpired.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a little bit about Badger, our company. So Badger, we're right at a 7-year-old company, somewhat of a startup, but we are a product division of Jabil, which is a contract manufacturing company, a New York publicly traded company, New York Stock Exchange, publicly traded, do about 32 billion in revenue. So about 6.5 years ago, they acquired Badger as one of their first product offerings to really take to market themselves. As a result, within Badger, our primary focus is collecting actionable data within the retail space that leverages that data both for the retailer to improve on their operations. That could be in-store conditions around inventory and what's happening on the shelf, as well as also what's happening in the store as it relates to safety and cleanliness. So multiple use cases there with each different solution, but we leverage our retail solution suite, if you will, with leveraging that collection of the data with fully autonomous robots operating in the store. So it's been an exciting ride, very disruptive, and something that we're extremely excited about as this industry continues to unfold in the different, retailers as well as suppliers who are servicing, those specific those industries, are ramping up and becoming more familiar with the solutions that are out there. With regards to Woodmans, I was very fortunate, had the opportunity to take the first robot up to Woodmans. When we deploy a robot into Woodmans or into any store, we walk the store and collect mapping data. That's what the robot utilizes for navigation purposes. But had the opportunity to go in and meet Tyler for the first time. I could tell you, Tyler probably was not necessarily a fan of robotics. He was more skeptical than anything. I welcomed the challenge, but he was just fun to kind of engage with early on, only because he was skeptical and it kind of set a challenge for us. So, we went in there and really had the robot set up within, a couple of hours. We began scanning some shelves and then showing the data associated with that. So very quickly, Tyler had a lot of questions. And quickly over the course of the next few weeks, I think we brought him over to the other side.
Nice. Well, here's an easy segue transition. Tyler, do you remember the story in the first meeting that way, or did you see it a little bit differently than that? Tell us about that. Because here's what I'd say. You came from the stores. You're all about delivering value and everyday low prices. Why do I want to buy this big piece of equipment? It's just going to cost more money, and we have to add cost to the system. But somehow you went from a skeptic to this is pretty cool. We need to do this. Tell your side of the story, and we'll see how well it matches with what Mark said.
No, Mark was absolutely right. Our corporate office shares a parking lot with one of our stores, and that was the store we were piloting the robot in. They didn't really share that was even happening. And then that day, somebody had said, there's a robot over at the store. And I was like, for what marketing gimmick are we playing today? And they were like, no, it's to do things and read the shelves and stuff. And then I really thought we were joking around. So a coworker and I ran over across the store to see it, and I kind of was like, nope, I've got questions right out the gate. We've got to discuss some things. This is nuts, and it's never going to work here. So I picked their brains and asked them all sorts of questions. What happens when the internet goes out? Does this thing just start running around, knocking things over, taking people out? Like, how much fun do we need to get a lasso involved? Like, what is going to happen? So I was just very skeptical. And then Clint, our CEO, he had known I was very skeptical about it. And he said, you don't seem to think this is really something that's going to apply to us. So why don't you run the project? If they can prove you wrong, then maybe we have something here. So that's how I got involved with the robots.
So the moral of the story, don't be skeptical or you'll get assigned the project.
Exactly. You just kind of
if you can convince Tyler this is a good idea, you've made the sale. So, well, let's be honest here. So you said, Mark, 6 to 7 years ago, 10 years, whatever. 10 years ago, we didn't have robots in stores. We had people, right? We had people. So Tyler, walk us through this transition. So Tyler's going, hey, I used to do this work in the store. Now you got a robot doing it. What exactly is the robot automating that, frankly, is probably better to be done by a robot than a person? Let's start out with Tyler. You started out as a skeptic. What are the things that you learned about what it could do and how it could help the store associates that you now became wow, we got to think about this?
Well, first off, the accuracy. I didn't really think that it was going to be an accurate product. I didn't think that we were going to see it, be able to read the shelves, and then be able to rely on that data as much as we are. So that was the first big thing. It's just the fact that it really did what they said it was going to do, and it wasn't one of those fun things that works for a while and then, really push that off to the side right now. So that was a big thing for me. And price verifying, when I could see that it was truly pointing out price errors on the shelf, was a really big push for me because I was a pricing coordinator at one of our stores, and I had to stop what I was doing and go price verify about once a month. And it's boring. It's so boring. Our shelves are extremely long, and that aisle is just overwhelming to start with, and scanning every product. You stop paying attention. You skip sections. The robot was hitting all of it every day and just keeping up to date.
So we'll make sure I understand. For the 100,000 items you've got, your verifiers would literally take a device, scan the shelf label, say the point of sale says it's $4.20. The label says $4.20. That one matches. Go to the second one. Right? That's what we're talking about. Literally scanning every single shelf.
Every item. Yes.
Oh, that sounds painful.
It really was. It really was.
Wow.
Now
Okay.
it's all collected and nicely put in a little basket to, here you go. This is what you need to take care of today.
That's awesome. People who may not understand, why is verifying prices important? Okay, so they're off by a little bit. What's the? I mean, I'm obviously being cynical because I know what the answer is going to be, but I think it'd be for a retailer perspective, why is pricing accuracy at the shelf very, very important?
Well, the customer experience first and foremost.
Yep.
But there are also state auditors that come in. Fines can be assessed if too many pricing errors are found. But I mean, primarily and first focus, always the customer. So just making sure that the accurate price is on their receipt, that they picked it up off the shelf, is number one.
So picking up an item off the shelf that says $4, and when I get the register, it's $4.80, you could dissatisfy some company. Oh, there's a little bait and switch here. I picked it up here, but they're charging me more money. You thought I didn't say that, huh? So,
Yep.
All right, Mark, over to you. So what else does this thing do? So walk us through kind of the beginning, because the first thing, I don't know that we've even said it. Walk us what a run would look like. And we've got this animated video we'll show behind the scenes, but we're talking about a robot that absolutely plugs into the wall by itself, charges itself, and at specified times undocks and does tasks in store. Walk us through what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you stated, the robot's fully autonomous. So if you can imagine just a wireless device within the retail space, so whether it's a wireless phone or whatever, it's just simply a wireless device. We just require an area, probably 3 by 3, 3 foot by 3 foot, to park the robot in, typically on the main sales floor. and it plugs in, the charger plugs into a standard outlet. No infrastructure requirements whatsoever on the retailer's side. So we deploy the robot, and really within the robot, we have two primary solutions. The one solution running at Woodmans is referenced as Insight. That's giving visibility, collecting on-shelf data around out of stocks, incorrect products, and mispriced items. And then the second solution is really, that's called our Inspect, and that's where the robot can operate throughout the day when it's not scanning the shelf to physically inspect the floors. So from a retailer's perspective and providing duty of care for a clean, safe environment, the robot now provides a highly compliant store walk program that gives before and after images that risk management teams can reference in the event there's an incident in the store. So really, connection-wise, the robot operating the store is very simplistic. Nothing required, at least from an internet connection, other than an internet connection at the store level. And then depending on the retailer, we stand up, our solutions against their in-store operations, and make just for purposes of improving those operational, efficiencies around whether it's pricing and auditing or replenishment, or even post analytics on the data. Why are these issues occurring in my store? And looking more down up the chain as it relates to supply chain. So again, numerous use cases across the board, depending on how the retailer is leveraging it. And to Tyler's point, right? I mean, retailers are faced with a lot of demands. They have a lot of product, a lot of suppliers, a lot of people in and out of their store. They have customers, they have people they have to manage. By leveraging these type of, 10 years ago, you would have looked at it as very disruptive. Almost now, I would envision retailers looking at it as this would be a must-have, because you're standing up programs that are offering greater compliance, as well as conducted more often, and you're collecting more usable data out of your store on a more timely basis, so you can make faster decisions that will help hopefully be a positive impact to the bottom line.